consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize. Hello, my loves from all around the world. Thank you so much for being here. I am so honored you have chose to listen to this show. If you enjoy this episode, please do leave a review, take a screenshot of this podcast, and shout me out on social media so that more people can know about this episode. So on Instagram, it's Bold Sexy Warrior, and on Facebook, it's Rosalyn Fung Coaching Bold Sexy Warrior. You know that it would mean the world to me for you to take a few minutes to share and review this, and I would love for you to support me in spreading more love and consciousness into the collective. Now, my love, have you ever wondered how becoming certified as a Reiki Master can help bring you even more abundance into your life? What does healing your life have to do with manifesting? And have you ever wondered how you can turn your pain into your purpose? I'm so excited for this episode. Today, we are bringing on my special guest, one of my soulmate clients, and I'm also her soulmate client, my very own Karuna Reiki teacher, Trish Bowie. She is a founder of her company, Divine Compassion, and of the Western Canada Reiki Training Centre. Trish herself is a transformational coach and dreamweaver here to light the way to people's spiritual paths, bringing them home to the infinite power that lives within. Having experienced deep loss at a very young age and throughout most of her life, Trish struggled emotionally, spiritually, and physically for many years, fearing that all the males she loved would be taken from her through loss. Through her own personal growth, faith, and connection to the divine, Trish was able to overcome her challenges and fears of the future and is now living a life of deep purpose and inner peace. Trish is passionate about sharing her story and healing with others. She is gifted in her ability to show compassion and unconditional love while encouraging growth and healing from within. Her positive outlook and faith in divine, along with her skills, training, and experience with coaching and healing many, make her someone you want to have in your corner as you navigate the challenges of life. Trish works with many spiritual leaders herself. I always call her like an ascended master, and I'm so happy that she's come into my life. She is a manifesting queen, Senior Reiki, Yusuri, Tibetan Master, Karuna Master, Shambhala, multi-dimensional healing master, which we'll hear more about what this magic is. And she has channeled her own system called Divine Compassion. She is as well a Heal Your Life facilitator and coach. She has co-authored in 4 books. Listen to the juiciness of these titles. The first book is called Manifesting Modern Miracles. The second one is Spiritual Leaders. The third one is 111 Morning Meditations. And the fourth is one and upcoming. She's going to be a co-author with me in Blue Talks Business, Life, and Universe. And in that series, it's going to come out soon. So I'm so excited for you all to meet my amazing friend, Trish Bowie. Hello, love.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, so excited for us at Jam and so excited for you to share your message out into the world so more people can know about you. I just love you so dearly. In fact, I think we need to talk about, speaking of manifesting, how we met because that's such a fun story. So I was running my 5-day self-promotion challenge earlier this year in January, and Trish somehow came into that challenge. Somehow she found out about it. And organic traffic, of course, divinely guided. And we got on a discovery call, and she really wanted to work a VIP with me, my premium package. And Trish, do you want to take over with this? Because I was just in awe. I was like, okay, I've never met anyone who is such a powerful manifester that this happened.
Can I use figures?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Share away.
So, yeah, it's priceless, Roz, when I think of it. So I'm talking to you on the phone, and then you mentioned the one-on-one, VIP one-on-one, and I asked you, okay, so what does that look like? And you said, oh, 10K. Mm-hmm. and I did a quick choke, and I politely said, well, if I could, this was a Thursday, I think. I said, if I can manifest it by Monday, then you've got me. And so I hung up the phone and I thought, holy smokes, I've got to manifest this money really fast. And so it was crazy. I got on the phone and I landed a job for $5,600. 2 $1,000 checks came in the mail. They came in on Friday, and I created some Reiki classes. So I was just, I think, short about $500. I think I got it up to about $9,500. So that was good enough because I knew I could create.
And then you emailed me on Monday. It's like, okay, I got it. We're in. I'm like, what? I was so blown away. And Trish, please do share, just since working together, how that has helped you grow your business. Because, you literally put your manifesting powers at play. And given the strategies that we worked on, and just that really leveled you up, because we'll talk about, please tell us how old you are.
I'm 64.
And you guys, if you see a picture of Trish, you will on the podcast picture, you will be in shock that she's 64 because she doesn't look 64. And then also you'll hear in this episode, you're like, no way are you 64. She's got the same energy as me. So, and
well, that's why I fell in love with you. You have so much energy.
I love it. And you were someone who really struggled with being in front of the computer for more than, I think you said 10 minutes a day?
Yeah. After 10 minutes, I was getting physically ill. I could not sit in front of a computer ever for more than that time. Mm-mm. But now I've gone up to 8 hours a day teaching classes via Zoom.
And something really shifted. And COVID, this was right before we started working together right before COVID hit. And just how crazy incredible that was for you to really level up in your business.
Oh, yeah.
And do you want to talk figures again about how much you manifested?
Mm-hmm. I do because it was really amazing for me. So as I said, I manifested that first amount, the first 10. And so I was pretty excited about that. And then that was in February. And then COVID hit. And I just kind of went, oh no, because I couldn't do those jobs that I had manifested. And here I had already hired you and signed the contract. And so I was like, I've got to figure something out here. And so you and I started working together, and that was really, really great. And I'm sure it wasn't always easy for you because I had no skills when it came to I didn't even know how to use Zoom before. So
this
it
is
was
true
quite
story,
amazing.
everybody. True story.
Yeah.
Trish had no clue how to use Zoom.
WhatsApp? What's what? Like anything that. And finally, at one point, I had to say to Rod, because if you remember, I had to say, Rod, you need to slow down because this is so much for me. And I mean, this is just normal, everyday things for you, right? But for me,
That's right.
was huge. It was huge. And so, Roz, you being the beautiful person that you are, you gave me that space to breathe. And it didn't take long. And I said, you watch. I'll come out, and I'll come out hard.
Oh, you did.
And so I did. And I was so excited. And I think right after that, it wasn't long after that, then I created that 10K in that month of COVID. Mm-hmm. So that was really excited, and I made a decision at that time that I was going to repeat that, and so I did. And so I think that it's been really wonderful to see that no matter how hard of times there are, we can create whatever it is we need to create. But you have to have, I believe, that the belief and the power behind it. And so when I say that, I've noticed over the years that if I have sort of that challenge that makes me really go deep and know that I can do it and have a strong belief that I can make it happen, I do.
Absolutely. So I hope that those of you who are listening, you're being really inspired by Trish's story and just how much challenges there were. In her case, it was really technology and all the contracts that she did have with before signing up with me couldn't be executed because of COVID. So she pivoted and she got out of her own way, learned how to do Zoom, learned how to be on the computer, learned about WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And you're like a master at it today. And it really didn't take you very long. So when we put our mind to something and we shift, we allow ourselves to let go of any resistance and melt it, we can make anything happen. And we're going to dive in deeper today about this. So Trish, I'd love for you to start sharing your story about how you came to be this, I'm going to say ascended master, who you are today. And please do share with us your journey.
Okay, so I really feel when people ask me to share my story, I really feel my story started when I was in my 20s. And I grew up in the city and moved out to the country, out to the bush, literally. The roads were so bad when it rained, we had to have a tractor pull our vehicle. And so I went from this city life to this country life, and we had no running water. And my husband had quit his job so he could help his dad. So we had no money as well. And we couldn't get unemployment back in those days. So we lived off $3,200 for that whole year, if you can imagine, wow. And with no running water and a baby. So that was a real rude awakening, really, for me. And it was very harsh, I guess you could say. I came from a little bit above middle class family. My father died when I was 13 years old, and but we still had things pretty good when I lived in the city. So it was all new to me. So I've been challenged since a very young age. So my husband actually drowned of a drowning accident when I was 24 in our yard. And we had a dugout. That was our drinking supply. It was a 1 million gallon dugout. And he had been in that dugout bluestoning and cleaning the water with this bluestone. He was in his boat with my son. And my son said, "Daddy, let me out. We're going to drown." And for some reason, my husband did bring him to the shore. Normally he would have said, no, everything's fine, but he didn't. He brought him to the shore. And I went to get my son a drink of juice. And when we were sitting outside, I had my baby, my 1-year-old, and my son. We were sitting and having juice. And I could hear this splashing and this grunting noise. And I ran to see what it was. And I could see my husband bobbing up and down. He had just had surgery a few days before, so he was very weak still, and he was trying to, stay up in the water. And so I put my baby in the crib, and I ran out, and I jumped into the water. I couldn't see him at that point. And I jumped in the water to try and save him, but I couldn't find him. And so fin divers came, and friends, neighbors came to try and find him. It was very hard. It took an hour for them to find him. But I just remember that helpless feeling and watching my mother, what she had gone through when my father died when I was 13. And here I was 24. And I remember feeling like history was repeating itself. Here I was going to be this widow without a husband, left with these children. And I just remember that horrifying feeling. But in the same breath, I knew enough to know I had to pull it together. I had to put a smile on my face. I had to be a trooper, and I had to be strong for everybody because everybody was so sad around me. And so I felt like I couldn't take that time to grieve so much. I had to really pull it together for his family and for my children. And I'm sure his family felt they were pulling it together for me as well. It's a hard time, difficult time. So I knew, though, that I had to ask my husband in that relationship because, as I said, we left everything and went out there and we had no money. I would have to ask him for $10 to buy him a birthday present. And I remember after he passed, I remember feeling I never, ever in my life will be that poor again. I never want to be, and I never will be. And I knew I had this fire in me, this determination that I was going to make a difference. I wanted to make a difference in the world. I never wanted people to hurt the way I hurt. So through that time, I continued. I became an international artist. I actually specialized in fish scale art, which is a Northern Alberta native art. And I was doing that, and they were selling it through the legislature and all over different parts of the world. And I became a Mary Kay consultant. And so it was really good. And one thing that Mary Kay gave me was some business sense, because I certainly didn't have business training. And there's constant training through that. So that gave me that. And it was really, really wonderful to have had that experience and to be able to get away and to go to conventions. And I would go to these conventions, and my director was talking positive all the time. And I would look at all those directors up there so filled with positive, and I was so sad. I was so sad inside. And I thought, their lives are so great and everything's so perfect, but my life isn't like that. And how, I can't even possibly feel like that because my life isn't like that.
Okay, beautiful. We're going to pause right there. We're going to leave people on a cliffhanger because we need to go into commercial. But I want you guys to reflect on what parts of Trish's story are you totally resonating with, and notice that about yourself. Notice what is coming through for you in terms of the messages.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Life is a flow, and enlightenment is simply harmonizing with the way life really is. Then you find that life is effortless, benevolent, and free of all suffering. Hey everyone, this is GP Walsh, and I want to invite you to my brand new radio show that's launching right here on OMTimes Radio called The Flow of Enlightenment. I've been a spiritual teacher for decades, and my greatest pleasure is being able to share with you these deep and highly practical spiritual ideas. So join me in The Flow every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and let yourself be transformed.
I'm so not good enough. Fail. They'll judge me. I'm afraid others
it's
are
already
doing
been
it.
done.
Who are you not to fully express who you are, to be your warrior of light and do business from your fierce, aligned energy? I'm Rosalyn Fung, host of Activate Your Soulgasmic Business here on OMTimes Radio. Let's get your business turned on to the next level. I invite you to hop on a business soul alignment discovery call with me at rosalynfung.com and let's monetize in your soul mission. Go to ROSALYN F as in fun, UNG.com.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, my loves. So Trish, I'll just invite you to continue your story, please.
Okay, so in that time, after my husband passed, a young guy actually had moved into our community 2 weeks before my husband passed away, and he was single and came in and bought a bunch of land and brought in a bunch of cattle, and very tall and good looking. And I'm 6'1", so he was a looker, that's for sure. Anyway, him and I we started dating, and then we married 5 years later. And we had another child together. And I was still, not 100% happy. I still had lots of sadness in me. And I certainly was still grieving my husband. It didn't stop the day I got married, that's for sure. And so I remember saying there were a lot of people, there were a lot of things happening around us. Our neighbor blew up under his trailer. My sister-in-law's mother's airplane crashed on my husband's land and she died. There was a young boy who drowned in a ditch. I mean, there were tragedies constantly happening around us. And I remember getting this sense that we had to get out of there. We had to get out of the north. And so I said to my husband, we have to move. And I have 4 quarters of land, which is 160 acres per quarter. And my husband had 8 quarters of land. And I just said, we have to sell everything and leave. Well, we sold most of it. We kept 3 quarters between us, I think it was. And my husband listened. He actually listened to me. And we it was such a big thing. Like, I can't imagine that he listened. But we moved to central Alberta. And it was very exciting for me because my family were in Edmonton and St. Albert, which is only a little hour and a bit away. And my husband's family were south of us, so about an hour as well, and some a little bit further. So we really felt like we had plunked ourselves in the middle of our families, which was so delightful after being so far away from them. And one thing I noticed, though, that even though we did these things that I thought were going to make me happy, I wasn't getting happy. I was actually getting sicker. And I didn't mention, after my husband died, I had back surgery the first year, gallbladder surgery the year after, appendix surgery the year after that, became asthmatic, had fibromyalgia. So all these illnesses were affecting me. When we came to central Alberta, I got so bad at one point, I couldn't even lift a cup of coffee. And I was in the hospital, and I remember that night just really praying. The doctor thought I actually had a disease that takes they check your respirations every 15 minutes because it can actually kill you, this particular disease. And so he was checking me and monitoring me. And in the night, felt this warmth come through the crown, the top of my head, and go through my body. I had asked, please help me. Please tell me what is wrong. And the word stress came in. And I remember hearing and feeling that word stress. And I knew I'd be okay. The doctor came in the morning, and the nurse was with him, and he had his hands on his face, like he held holding up his head, and the nurse said, Dr. Martin's been up all night worried about you. And I said, don't worry, doc, I'm fine. And he said, what? I said, it's stress. And he said, stress? How do you know that? And I told him my story, and he said, do you believe it? And I said, yes. And he said, well, if you don't change your life, you could end up in a wheelchair. He said, I've seen people become crippled as a result of the stress. And exactly that's what was happening. My muscles were so weak, they could hardly hold me up. And so I listened to him, and I came home, and I decided to take Reiki training. I thought it was weird. I thought it was so weird. A friend of mine asked if she could do it on me, and for a few times, I said, no, you're not touching me with that weird stuff. And but I was so ill. I was so ill that I surrendered, and I called her, and I said, can you come and give me a massage? And she said, it's not a massage you need, it's Reiki. And so she came, she performed Reiki on me 3 times that week, and I went from hardly being able to lift myself off the bed to the first Reiki treatment. I was able to make a 5-course meal for my family. And I had so much energy that night, and I couldn't believe it. And I got so excited that I knew I wanted to be able to take it and learn it and do that for my family. I came from a family where all my dad died when he was 51, and all my uncles on both sides had quadruple bypasses. So I knew I was in trouble. I was having chest pains at a young age, and I didn't think I would see the age of 50. Wow. So I took Reiki, and I just continued to Reiki myself every single day. And I also heard about Louise Hay's little book called You Can Heal Your Body. And it's filled with probable causes and affirmations. And you can look up whatever illness you have. And I looked up the illnesses, and I was, oh my gosh, they support everything that happened to me in my life so far. And so I started using those affirmations. And with doing Reiki, using the affirmation, so much was happening. I was really having a fast-growing business. I knew I wanted to help people. That was my passion. I wanted to change people's lives. And so I worked lots with people, doing Reiki on them, started the Western Canada Reiki Training Centre. And so, again, I wanted to spread the word. I wanted to teach. Originally, I didn't want to teach. My master actually phoned me, and she said, Trish, it's time to become a master. She was a Catholic. She was a Catholic nun. And I
said, way.
Yes. Oh, yes. That would be the only way I would take it back in those days, because, that was back in 1996, and people were hardly even talking about Reiki because it was kind of a taboo subject back then.
And I'm shocked because in the Catholic system, Reiki is not looked at highly as something of God. So I'm actually really shocked right now about that.
Yes. So what's really interesting is actually back in those days, a lot of the nuns were doing Reiki. And teaching it.
My mouth is like, my jaw is dropped right now. Because my mother-in-law was a previous, before, when this is totally off topic, but so interesting. My mother-in-law, before, she was a nun, and this is probably going to shock the audience.
The world.
My husband's dad was a priest when they met. So If you guys want to find out about that story, you have to go listen to Pleasure in the Bedroom and Banks episode on this podcast.
I love it.
Oh, so just like knowing her and how she came to be, obviously they were not nun and priest anymore, but you guys will have to go listen to that episode. So I'm very shocked about this right now. And I'm just like, whoa, because there's a nun, and hearing that there were nuns practicing Reiki, which means, you know, there's such different perspectives out there about Reiki. And it's so beautiful to hear this.
Yes. And that, honestly, Roz, if she couldn't have taught me Reiki, I never would have taken it. I grew up a very strong Catholic. I grew up in a very strong Catholic home. And I felt like Reiki was maybe not, you know, maybe I wasn't supposed to do that, wasn't supposed to go there. And so I had that fear. I had that limited belief back then. And so she taught me, and she was beautiful. She was 77 years old, and she was kind and loving and filled with energy as well, and just a beautiful human being. And so I knew it was okay. I knew when I took it from her. And in fact, I actually had 2 different attunements by 2 different nuns. So I really felt that what I was doing was good. And I had a couple of challenges as I started into my Reiki career, where a couple of very religious people, you know, they challenged me, and but it was okay. You know what's so good about that, Ross? It made me go deeper within. It made me pray. It made me ask God, am I doing what is good? You know, I was going deeper within me, connecting to the divine. And I knew what I was doing was a pure love and light. And so it never bothered me after that. And in fact, I didn't bring any more of those challenges to me. So that's the interesting thing about life, isn't it? If we put our energy into something, so if I had put my energy into the negative of what those people were saying, more of those people would have come to me. But they didn't, because I had come to peace within myself that what I did was good. And so I started to heal, Ross. All those things, my fibromyalgia symptoms went away, and they were so bad I could not get out of bed in the spring hardly.
Wow.
My asthma, I was on 2 inhalers a day, and I discovered that I no longer needed to use an inhaler. I could just Reiki my lungs. And so I just noticed that I was pulling away from even the medical system. So I used to, I grew up, we ran to doctors in emergency. That's what I knew. And I started to pull away from that. I became allergic to drugs. I couldn't take drugs anymore if something was wrong. And I had to have back surgery again first. So I perforated a disc the second time. And I thought, oh no, because now I'm allergic to drugs. The first time I could take drugs, but the second time I couldn't. And so I had those magnets, those Nika magnets. I had them pasted all over my body, and I was doing Reiki, and I thought, hey, there's something to this. And I couldn't take herbs back then either. I was reactive to just about everything, and I was starting to become allergic to it. It felt like everything in my life. I just was so worried before I started to Reiki myself. And so through Reiki and Louise Hay's Heal Your Life, I was able to really turn things around and make a difference.
You really did turn your pain into your purpose. And I'm so honored to know you. And this is a huge testimonial for you, Trish, because you are the first Reiki healer I worked with from a distance. I've never had distance Reiki. And let me tell you, when you were working on me, let me tell the audience, not you, but you know this. Oh my God, you guys, I have never, even in real life treatments, felt this kind of activation in my root chakra, in my sacral. I had so much energy. I was like, what is happening? I had, you can all tell, I have very high energy naturally. It took it to the next level. and just the downloads that were coming through, oh my goodness, I had so much energy for days, and it was just so powerful in all the receiving of this healing, because I have whiplash, and just how that really helps support. And I know my whiplash is more emotional, mental rather than physical at this point. And so that was really powerful to help it really start to dissipate even more and heal my body even more. And I'm just like, wow, this is so powerful. And the way you conduct your healing sessions is really interesting. And we'll go more into detail after commercial with this, because I'd love for people to learn more about what exactly is the difference between Usuri and Karuna. I will definitely share more about my experience in becoming certified as a Karuna Reiki Master with Trish.
Really? Okay.
Powerful.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Okay, welcome back, my love. So let me share with you. I hope that you're enjoying our conversation so far and you're feeling really inspired. Those of you who are certified in Reiki, I hope that you can see like how powerful you are, and I really want to acknowledge you. And if you're thinking about becoming certified in Reiki, I highly recommend Trish. So I have been a Usuri Reiki Master for quite a few years through another teacher, now one of my dear friends, Timmy Harbath of Timmy Wellness. And taking Reiki, gosh, I want to say that was probably about 5 years ago, maybe even longer. And it really helps me ascend and be more connected with my intuition. And so, Trish, my understanding of Karuna is you need to be certified in Usuri. Is that correct? In order to become certified in Karuna?
Yes, you need to be a Usui master for 6 months to a year, depending on how much you're utilizing the energy, before you can become a Karuna master.
Mm-hmm. And so that's because you're accessing higher levels of consciousness.
Very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so in becoming, I got certified under you this during COVID, and it was over Zoom. And it was such a powerful experience. And just since becoming certified as a Karuna Reiki Master, let me share just how powerful it's been. I will say I've been a pretty good manifester for the last few years. And of course, I apply, the neuroscience, the psychology, the spirituality into it. And now with this new gift of this superpower becoming, as a Reiki Karuna Master, it's something really internally shifted. And especially there's symbols particularly help you manifest, and things are happening quicker. And I was really noticing that it's just been so powerful, like in my relationships, in money, in clients coming in closer, so cool. And clients are manifesting themselves because I would put the Reiki symbols into our sessions and infuse it. Just so cool how all of this unfolded. So I'd love for you to share just more about your offerings. I'm going to be working with you soon in a Shambhala treatment, which I'm really excited about. And I've never heard of that before meeting you. So I would love for you to share a little bit more about Karuna Reiki, the difference between that and Usui, and then your Heal Your Life workshops. I always thought, as soon as I met you, Trish, I always felt like you have such a Louise Hay essence to you. And I was really attracted to you because of that, because I really love Louise Hay and her Heal Your Life book. I really believe in all the metaphysical. So yeah, please go ahead.
That's a beautiful compliment to say I'm like Louise Hay, because I think she was an incredibly beautiful lady. So if I can carry on her legacy, that is definitely what I want to be doing. Getting back to Reiki itself, Usui Reiki, you receive, depending on the system that you're taking, I actually teach Usui Tibetan Reiki, and so as a Usui Tibetan Reiki master and practitioner, you receive a total of 7 symbols in my system, in that particular system when I teach. 6 symbols. And so when you become a Karuna Master, you receive 9 more symbols. And so, but they're very specific, where Usui Reiki is, it's pretty gentle. And when you give a treatment, you lay the hands on the body from head to toe. It's very, very gentle energy. Karuna is more specific. So there are symbols for addiction, for manifestation, for grounding, for or sexual abuse, childhood issues, past life. Like there's different symbols that kind of hone in on those areas. And so I find it to be wonderful and powerful, and I'm so grateful that I have been able to teach that over the phone. I found out, and you talked about Shambhala, I found out by accident just before COVID that I could actually give a Shambhala treatment over the phone and end up with the same result. And so what Shambhala is, it's a multidimensional healing. And so I've actually turned it into, I call it Shambhala, the Bowie method, because anybody else who took the Shambhala training at the time do not treat the way I treat. But what happened was it's a multidimensional healing modality where you're attuned, or you're initiated. Your initiation gives you 352 symbols from here to the source. So when that happened, honestly, I had to hang on to my head for 3 weeks. It was unbelievable, the amount of energy coming through. So I used that energy to send this healing over the phone, and it worked. And at that moment, of course, COVID hit, and I thought, I wonder if I could use that multidimensional energy to initiate people to Usui Reiki and Karuna Reiki via Zoom. And so that is what I have been doing, and I have taught many, many classes doing that method, using that method.
Oh, so powerful, Trish. And I'm just being mindful of time, and I absolutely want you to share your gift of guiding people into your powerful meditations. So, would it be okay if we move into that space? And anyone that would like to learn more about your offerings and understand all the different kinds of services you provide, they can get a hold of you on your website, divinecompassion.ca, as well as Facebook, Trish Bowie, Bowie. And all your information will be on the show notes. But I really want to give so much time for you to deliver your beautiful meditation and gifts.
Okay, thank you, Roz. So I invite everyone to just take a nice, beautiful, deep breath in through their nose. And I'd like you to blow it out your mouth. Again, in through your nose. And making sure your eyes are closed at this time and that you're getting yourself into a comfortable position. Blowing out. Now one more time, take a deep breath in through your nose and out your mouth. If there is any tension in your body or heaviness in your heart, I invite you now to just give a big sigh. Letting go of all your worries and concerns. Take a minute to ask your heart what it needs. See if there's anything that you can do for it. If there are any feelings that come up, just allow them to be there. You don't need to do anything with them. Now, visualize a pink mist of light showering your body with love. Feel the pink light as it travels through the top of your head, down your throat, and into your heart center. Continue on down to your feet. Now allow that pink mist of light to travel back up your body to your heart. Send it down your arms and out your hands. And as it comes out your hands, visualize that you are directing it to your loved one or to a place in need of healing. Then bring your hands back to your heart and fill yourself with this healing and loving pink mist of light. Continue this for as long as it is comfortable to give and receive love. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes and become aware of your environment. Bow and give blessings for this beautiful day.
Breathing that in. Beautiful. And I'm just going to come in and seal this with a light language. So you're welcome. Keep your eyes opened or have a soft gaze. Breathing in this beautiful meditation that Trish just guided you through, noticing sensations in your body, noticing what feels good, and breathe in and expand this sensation to what feels so good, so right for you. Pura tikira tukura tia, pura kura tikira tua. Pura kura tikira tikira tua. Clearing anything in the way of your path of alignment. Kura tikira tu kura tikira. Pura kira tikira tu kura tikara tu kura kira tu kura tikira. Aligning your energy centers. Pura kira tu kura tikira tu. Breathing in, balancing, gurati kira chuku, breathing in flow, purati kira tikira. Setting intention for yourself and your big vision in this moment. Seeing who you are becoming, and in your big vision, who you have become. Seeing it, feeling it. Kurati kira tu kur, kurati kira tu kuratia. Noticing the next level version of you. What has she or he manifested at that next level? In business, in relationships, in health, in contribution, in family, in love. Feel into it. Pura kira kurati kira tua. You are worthy of receiving. You are worthy of receiving your big dreams. Pura kira kira tua. You are worthy to manifest your big dreams. Pura kira kira tia. Breathing this in. And then breathing out anything that doesn't serve or support. Breathing into your heart center. Seeing this pillar of light come through from source and connecting with your heart. Anchoring it down to Mother Earth. We see you, we hear you, we feel you. We love you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Beautiful. Just hanging out with your experience. And as you were being guided in this meditation, the symbols of manifesting have been infused in this meditation. Beautiful. And I invite you to journal anything that came through for you. So Trish, please do share with us what you've got exciting coming up in the next few weeks that definitely you're calling more clients into. What you got going on?
Well, other than my transformational coaching, I have a Heal Your Life workshop, a study group starting this Thursday night for 6 weeks. And I also have some Reiki. I have a Reiki level 3 class starting next week, and I have Reiki 1 starting tonight and Reiki level 2 starting tomorrow and again next week. Beautiful. So those are in the next 2 weeks.
Beautiful. And you have a couple more spots for some of these trainings?
Absolutely. I could get some more in, and it's via Zoom.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you can be tuning in anywhere in the world and learning from and being activated from this beautiful soul that is here to support spiritual leaders to take themselves to the next level. And I absolutely am a walking testimonial for that. So thank you so much, Trish. Thank you for being who you are. And if you're watching, today is December 8th, 2020. If you're watching it, I should say, if you're listening, use of Facebook Lives. If you're listening after this date, please do connect with Trish because she's always got some beautiful offerings. These workshops will continue because there is so much work to be done, and there's always another level in us spiritual leaders. So Trish, in the next last couple minutes here, is there a message you'd like to share with the world, for the collective right now?
I think my biggest message always is to always have hope and to always believe in yourself, because you do have a light within. You have to believe it's there, and always connect with the divine energy, and you will be taken care of.
Thank you so much. I loved jamming with you on this episode. Trish, every time we talk, I always learn something new about you or about myself. And it's really cool how when we're in this container together, whether it's in our WhatsApp chat or our Zoom calls, I just really feel like the activation happens so quickly. So thank you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, love. Please do, my loves, leave a review, share this podcast with others that need to hear these messages. And if you're inspired, please do share this. That would mean a great deal to me. Thank you so much, and enjoy your week.
Love you.